Your assignment: to replicate the Hershey-Chase experiment, but with zombies. We do not know what the zombie factor is transmitted from the zombie into the human to convert them into a zombie. Is it protein? Is it DNA? You must decide. We know that when a zombie interacts with a person, its zombie factor is transmitted into that person. Afterwards, the bones and leftovers of the zombies are no longer infectious. So, there is the non-infectious portion of the zombie and the zombie factor which is transmitted into the person. This zombie came from a pool of radioactive sulfur. So this zombie number 1 must have radioactive proteins, given that proteins incorporate sulfur as they are being formed. Since DNA does not possess sulfur, this zombie's DNA would not be radioactive, but its protein would be radioactive. This zombie came from a pool of radioactive phosphorus. Since phosphorus is incorporated into DNA as it is formed, this zombie number 2, must have radioactive DNA. Since protein does not include phosphorus, this zombie's protein would not be radioactive, but its DNA would be radioactive. After zombie number 1 transmits the zombie factor into a person, there is no radioactive sulfur, thus no radioactive protein which is identified from the person. The radioactive protein still exists, however, in the zombie's bones. When zombie number 2 infects a person, it transmits its zombie factor. Afterwards, radioactive phosphorus, and thus radioactive DNA, is isolated from the person. There is no radioactive phosphorus and no radioactive DNA isolated from the zombie bones afterwards. What is your conclusion from the zombie Hershey-Chase experiments? What is the zombie factor? Is it DNA or is it protein?